Just to put things in context again, we are talking about this instructional sequence, but we call it a power pack. And so the idea again of a power pack is that it elevates a lesson plan by allowing us to very easily, with great intentionality, deliver important instruction, but while children are playing or during an ongoing activity or routine. So the sequence has these 5 parts to it, especially when we're thinking of teaching common outcomes and targeted outcomes for young children. So we're talking about what to teach, when to teach, where to teach, what to teach with, and how to teach. This recording will cover when to teach and where to teach, keeping in mind that eventually we'll get to how do we teach individualized outcomes that are for specific children who may have foundational skills that are missing, prerequisite skills that are missing, or challenges and barriers that are keeping them from learning the common and targeted outcomes. So we'll eventually get to all the 5 steps plus how to do the embedded learning opportunity for individualized outcomes. But for now, let's talk a little bit about the when to teach and where to teach, which is the second and third part of the sequence, following the recording and resources that are provided on what to teach at each of the 3 tiers, or in other words, common outcomes, target outcomes, and individualized outcomes. So the when to teach is rather straightforward, but is something that we oftentimes don't think about in our planning. So either one of 2 extremes can happen. One, there is no routine in a classroom-based setting. And 2, the routine is so routine that we've not stepped back and thought about the routine, and is there any room for creativity, wonder, and some difference in a day-to-day. We also want to think about that the when is an actual time of day. Regardless of what we call it, it's just the next step or the next chunk of time, but that includes routines that have to happen, things like eating, or dressing, or toileting. It can also be those moments in between events where we transition and there's a bit of a lull or a pause, and these can be prime opportunities for teaching any of the outcomes that we might target, whether they be common outcomes for all children, targeted outcomes for children, some children, or individualized outcomes for particular children. We can also think about the start or the stop of the activity, not just the entire duration or the sequence of events during an activity, but really we want to be more precise that we're going to deliver our instruction at the start or the stop. And again, it could be when the child is with other adults, not just us. So if we're thinking like this power pack has to be delivered by us, that's one of the great things, is that it can be delivered by any team member. So when the child is interacting with or in other locations than where we may be, we also want to extrapolate this over to when they're playing with peers, because peers can mediate and deliver the instruction, as we'll see as we dig into some of the tier 2 or the targeted outcomes. So the when is really considering the time of day, considering if it's going to be during a routine activity, during the transition, at the start, at the stop, at the heart of it. Is it going to be one activity, several activities? And as we move up the tiers and children have more intensive needs, the when needs to be more frequent. So we need to deliver the instruction or the power pack more than just one activity, but within and across several activities. The next step, the third step of the intentional instructional sequence or the power pack, is the where should we teach. So we always think about location, 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 and we're thinking about where does it make sense? Now, some of this we can't predict always, because we want to follow children's lead, and we may not know where the child that we want to deliver the power pack to is playing. That said, especially when we're thinking about common or targeted outcomes, these should be things that we can deliver at any activity in any location, so that we can follow children's lead and deliver the power pack when and wherever they may be. So we try to get people to think outside of the immediate classroom, though that's going to be a critical part of our consideration of where to teach. We also want to think about outside the building. Now, this could be outside, meaning a playground, a garden area, a blacktop, the parking lot. It could also mean outside in terms of going out into the community. So really partnering with other adults that interact with the child, whether that be a child care, an after school program, a parent or caregiver, a babysitter, an aunt or an uncle, an older sibling, really thinking about the community and the family as a larger context and helping them learn how to deliver power packs when they are traveling with the child, grocery shopping with the child, doing a family event, just even doing a bedtime routine. We also want to think about spaces inside our building, wherever our program might be held, or its physical location. What else is going on in that building? Is there a media center? Is there a physical education or gym where we can go? Is there a music area? And sometimes it could just be the hallway or other classrooms. So again, really thinking broadly about where and when power packs can be delivered. We're not just thinking of these instructional times that really look like instruction, but we're thinking about when kids get off the bus, when kids line up to go to the bus, when kids may go to recess, when kids may go to the lunchroom. So we really want to think broadly about where the power packs can be delivered. And then of course we want to think within the classroom. So we want to think about the natural centers that we've set up with the block area. There might be a quiet area, there may be a dramatic play area, there may be a creativity and wonder area, there may be a multimedia area, a place where we eat, a place where we rest, a place where we gather our things at the beginning and the end of the day, a place where we gather on our mats to have some sort of community conversation. It doesn't really matter what we call these areas, but we really want to be thinking about how can we deliver these power packs throughout the areas so that wherever children may want to go and play, the power pack follows them and can be delivered, whether it be in a science area or whether it be in a puzzle area, that we can still deliver this power pack to children across locations, whether those be in the classroom, around the classroom, or outside the classroom and into the community.